tell the family. In most cases, it's completely private. But however, certain infections which may be life-threatening, like HIV or hepatitis B or C, these we try to encourage the patient to themselves tell their partner, male or female. That, it's better you tell your partner, so then you can use protection further on, and both of you can get the required treatment. Your partner has to be tested for this mandatorily. So these things we encourage the patient to tell their partner. These should be ideally disclosed, or if they are too afraid, we ask them to bring their partner in and then we tell them. Ideally, I mean, in an ideal world, most information about STIs should at least be shared with your current or past partners, because there is something we call a ping-pong effect, where usually they transmit from male to female alternately, and that keeps going on. So both partners have to be tested and treated. So this is something to remember.
Very true. And it's very interesting that term ping pong effect, because it's constantly going this way. So all right, when we talk about like you said, talking to your partner and getting these tests done with them, how often should a sexually active individual and their partners get tested? If say a person is an adult and they're sexually active, it could be with this, and I mean this even if they're only active with one person and they're in a long-term relationship. I think there's a certain stigma around getting tested if you are in a committed relationship, because it implies infidelity or it implies something else. So what would your medical opinion be on how frequently anyone who's sexually active should get tested?
If I have gone through various guidelines for this. So the guidelines abroad are pretty clear that whenever you change your partner, or your partner changes a partner, anyone having multiple partners should get tested every time this happens. If you are in a monogamous relationship, if you notice any symptoms, either male or female, that may be related to STIs, then please get tested. But of course, some STIs are asymptomatic. Like I said, they don't, you may not have any complaint at all. So the ideal time to get tested should be at least once in 6 months. At least pay a visit to your doctor, and then, they can guide you further. So the pap smear is, I would say mandatory for every girl to get. Like I said, abroad it's done after the age of 21 every 3 years. In India, at least, if once you're sexually active or once you're married, try to get it done once in 3 years, at least once in 5 years. And after the age of 30, definitely once in 3 years. Why is the pap smear? Okay, let's go with what is the pap smear first, because everyone doesn't know that. Okay, so the pap smear can be done taking something called like an ice cream stick, which we call an air spatula. The newer thing that we use is a cyto brush, which is just a thin, like a rod with some bristles around it. We insert that, like the instrument that I mentioned, using a speculum. First, we like to look at the inside, and we insert this and gently touch it to the insides. It's not painful. It doesn't require anesthesia. It's an OPD procedure. Takes a few seconds up to a minute. And this test helps to identify a lot of things. So, everyone associates pap smear with cancer, but a pap smear tells us a lot of things. It can tell if, you have any infection in that area, if you are prone to getting infections in the future. There's a virus which is also sexually transmitted called human papillomavirus, or HPV. So HPV has many types. Some types of HPV cause warts in the area, in genital warts or venereal warts. And some types of HPV can even lead to cervical cancer later on in women. So it's very important for these pap smears to be done serially. Now, something else that we can do, if your pap gives an unusual result, or we suspect, there's something called a colposcopy which we can do, where we visualize through a special camera or special light. We look at the cervix. We can take samples from specific areas. We can do HPV DNA test, which gives us a better report. So all these things, of course, your gynecologist will decide, but we can only do that if you visit us regularly and get this checkup done. It's mandatory abroad, not done in India. So girls themselves should come up. And very, very importantly, not directly related to my topic, but please, please, please get the vaccine. There's a vaccine that protects you against HPV. It's the cervical cancer vaccine that we call in simple terms. There are 2 types. One is bivalent, one is quadrivalent. Quadrivalent vaccine is better because quadrivalent means it protects you against 4 types of HPV. So against warts and cancers later on. So ideally, this vaccine is to be taken anywhere between the ages of 9 to 25, but it can even extend, till whenever you get married. So please take this vaccine. It will give you a lot of benefit, and probably it's one of the only STDs along with, say, hepatitis B. So these can be prevented by a vaccine. And there are guidelines, so they are told to visit their gynecologist at this frequency, and the next visit is pre-decided when they visit the first time. If the pap smear at the first visit gives an abnormal report, then further testing is also encouraged and done. And sometimes they may ask them to visit back in a year and test again. So everyone actually, a lot of girls are not sexually active before marriage. Marriages are late. So this is also in India, this is happening, that it's getting delayed. But at least as when you are sexually active or when you get married, do go to your gynae yourself and ask for a pap smear. Tests are not very expensive. It depends again like on the condition and the test we run. But there are multiple tests available for each type of STI. Okay, so the patient has to tell us clearly that this is my budget, this is the test that I can go for. And so then accordingly we would plan it out for you. But obviously it can vary from a few hundred rupees, like even into thousands. But the test would be adjusted based on the patient's financial condition as well. A lot of labs have panels as well, which are cheaper, and then the panels cover a lot of the tests. So those can be done because many STIs, like I mentioned, do coexist. So you may have more than one at one time. So then in that case, we would like to run a panel. And there's another thing which I would want to mention. It's really important for patients not to get scared of the cost of testing. Sometimes if a patient comes to us, like they cannot afford testing, but with the clinical symptoms, we have an idea of what condition it is. There's something called a syndromic approach, where we give them antibiotics or medicines which would cover a lot of the STIs. So it's not that we treat you for one, then we'll test for another, things like that. So most of them do get covered. There are kits of 3 tablets that you can take at one time if your doctor feels that's right for you. There are some stronger antibiotics which may go on for 7 to 14 days. But again, all of these are very affordable. So not just the testing, but the treatment is also very affordable. And if detected early, if there are no complications, all the treatments can be taken at home. So this is something that patients should remember. They are just tablets.